You know that feeling, right? You're rushing through your day, maybe a little stressed, kind of frazzled,
Yeah.
and then someone you barely know does something really small but, thoughtful.
Mm-hmm.
Like they hold a door when your hands are full, or maybe they remember your name from last week. Just a quick introduction.
Right. Or even just a genuine smile, like they actually see you.
Exactly. And just like that, your whole mood kind of shifts. Your day feels brighter.
It really does.
That little moment of human connection, that unexpected bit of grace.
Well, that's actually where we're starting our deep dive today.
Okay.
We're diving into the fascinating and I think often kind of misunderstood world of etiquette.
Etiquette. The word itself can sound a bit daunting.
It can.
Yeah.
Before you picture like stuffy dinner parties and a million rigid rules.
Forks and knives.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let me just clarify. Our guide for this exploration is the enduring wisdom of Emily Post.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually saw etiquette not as some fancy old rule book, but really as the fundamental principles of kindness, consideration, and respect in action.
Kindness in action. I like that framing.
Right. So our mission for this deep dive is to really uncover how these seemingly little things, the stuff we do every day, can actually make life profoundly smoother, more pleasant for everyone involved.
They're like the building blocks.
Totally. The building blocks of gracious living and, real human connection. So we're going to unpack 6 key areas of these everyday manners.
Okay, what have we got?
How we greet each other, the art of making introductions, always tricky, the sort of dance of conversation, the really powerful act of remembering names.
Oh, that's a big one.
Huge. Navigating titles and forms of address, and then finally all those little courtesies that just kind of brighten daily life.
And I think it's really crucial to understand the why behind these things.
Yeah.
We often just brush them off as, social niceties, whatever. But they're actually much more than that. They are like the foundational bits that build trust and respect. Especially now, right? In our super fast-paced, often kind of distracted world, understanding and actually doing these simple intentional acts, that can lead to some really profound aha moments for people.
Yeah, I believe that.
You suddenly see just how much impact a tiny moment of consideration can have on, the whole quality of how we interact, even our relationships. They're kind of the social glue,
Yeah.
Makes everything else work better.
Absolutely. Like, think about that classic grocery store checkout scenario.
Okay.
The cashier looks totally wiped out, just kind of going through the motions, seen it a million times.
We've all been there.
But you greet them warmly, maybe you glance at their name badge, use their name, thank them sincerely, and you literally see their shoulders relax a bit, maybe a little smile flickers.
Yeah, you see that shift.
That's not magic. That's just thoughtful manners at work.
Right.
Right? Creating a little moment of real human connection where it might have just been, transactional silence.
Yeah.
It changes the energy, doesn't it?
It really does. And it's profoundly deeper than just being nice. Emily Post famously described etiquette as the oil that lubricates society.
Right. I remember that quote.
And it's not just a clever metaphor. I mean, think about it. Without that lubrication, human interactions, just like gears, they would grind. They'd create friction, discomfort.
Yeah.
It taps into, I think, a really primal need we have for validation, to feel seen, to feel valued, especially in a world that can feel very transactional. Our brains are actually hardwired to respond positively to kindness. And these actions, these small courtesies, they fulfill that need even in the quickest exchange.
And when you stop and think about it, you can instantly remember times when that oil made a huge difference for you personally.
Oh, for sure.
Like the colleague who remembered your name after just one meeting made you feel instantly kind of valued, right? Or the stranger who held the door when you were struggling with bags just turned a difficult moment into one of ease. Or maybe the most powerful one, the friend who really listened when you were talking instead of, constantly checking their phone.
The phone thing. Yes.
These small courtesies, they aren't really small at all, are they? They feel like the very foundation of trust and genuine connection between people. They signal intentionality.
That's the perfect word, intentionality. It signals something absolutely vital, that the effort itself, the intention, communicates respect.
Right.
Good manners aren't about, like, achieving some flawless performance. Let's be real. We won't always get it perfectly right.
Definitely no.
But the willingness to try, to engage positively, to show you actually care about the interaction, even briefly, that's incredibly powerful. It builds what psychologists call psychological safety, which then allows for more open, more authentic communication down the line.
Okay, so let's dig into the first area then, our social hello world greetings.
The starting point.
Yeah. Emily Post really believed a proper greeting sets the tone for everything that follows. Now, in her era, the handshake was kind of the gold standard, wasn't it?
It was. The firm, but not, bone-crushing grip.
Right. Combined with direct eye contact and a genuine smile, it was seen as this universal sign of respect, of equality. But how do those sort of traditional ideas translate today? I mean, greetings are so varied now.
That is a great question. Because while the handshake definitely still carries significant weight, especially, in professional settings, modern greetings have really expanded dramatically. Think about just a simple nod across a crowded room.
Yeah.
Or a friendly wave to a neighbor, or the warmth of a hug between friends you haven't seen in ages.
Or even during the pandemic, we got creative, right? Elbow bumps, hands over the heart.
Exactly. We adapted. So the form might change, but the underlying purpose, that stays constant. It's about acknowledging another person respectfully, authentically, and actually the brain registers genuine eye contact as a form of social reward.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it literally makes the other person feel, well, better.
That's fascinating, the neuroscience bit.
Yeah.
So it tells us the most crucial element in any greeting isn't really the specific gesture, but the sincerity, the presence, a limp, distracted handshake, the kind.
Oh, yeah, the dead fish.
Or that half-hearted wave where you're already looking past the person. That immediately signals disinterest.
Totally. Kills the moment.
But a genuine smile, paired with any greeting, whether it's a firm handshake, a nod, a wave, a warm verbal hello, it really says, I see you and I'm glad you're here. It makes that instant connection.
Instead of creating distance.
Right. I've often seen people, almost look through someone during a greeting, maybe fiddling with their phone.
Yeah.
It just kills that potential connection before it even starts.
Precisely. And the impact is profound. One approach, the present one, creates an immediate sense of rapport, of openness. The other can subtly, or sometimes not so subtly, just shut down the interaction before it even gets going. It's a very tangible example, isn't it? How a small act of just paying attention, of being intentional, yields a really significant outcome. And honestly, in a world where we're constantly bombarded with stimuli, giving someone your undivided attention, even just for those few seconds in a greeting, that's actually a rare and powerful gift these days.
It really is. Okay, moving on. Introductions. These can feel a little bit like navigating a social minefield sometimes, can't they?
Yeah, they can be awkward.
But Emily Post actually gave us a wonderfully simple formula, which I always appreciated. She suggested introducing the person of, quote, lower rank to the person of higher rank.
Okay, that sounds a bit old-fashioned now, maybe?
It does sound a bit formal, but the key was you say the higher-ranking person's name first. So, for example, you'd say, Dr. Martinez, this is my colleague Daniel. It just creates a clear path for who should acknowledge whom first.
Right, it gives structure.
But what's the, secret sauce beyond just that formality that really helps people connect?
Well, beyond the mechanics, it's about being that social architect you mentioned earlier. Okay. The real power, I think, comes from adding just a little detail, something to spark conversation.
Ah, the hook.
Exactly. Instead of just names, which can leave people hanging, you might say, Dr. Martinez, this is Daniel, he's also really passionate about environmental law, much like your recent research.
Right, yeah.
Suddenly, it's not just an introduction, it's a bridge. You've given them a natural starting point to actually talk to each other. And you're right, in modern, more casual settings, that concept of rank often matters way less, or it's irrelevant. But the goal is the same. Make everyone feel comfortable, included.
Right.
You're basically giving people useful information. This is Sarah. She just moved here from Chicago.
Okay.
And this is Jamal, my college roommate who knows all the best restaurants in town. It immediately gives them an icebreaker, empowers them to engage.
That makes so much sense. It's not just about listing names. It's about sharing a little context, giving them those conversational hooks. It takes the pressure off.
Totally.
But what happens when you don't provide those details? When you just do the bare minimum, Sarah, Jamal, Sarah, is it just awkward? Or does it actually hinder connection more deeply?
Oh, I think it absolutely hinders it. Without those little hooks, you kind of leave people in a social vacuum.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
They're forced to scramble for common ground, which can feel like an interrogation. So what do you do? Or it just leads to those polite but ultimately really shallow exchanges.
Right, the weather talk.
Exactly. And subtly, it sends a signal that maybe you haven't really considered why these two people might connect, or worse, maybe you haven't paid enough attention to either of them to find a point of resonance. It creates distance, definitely not connection.
Okay, point taken. Let's talk conversation skills now. This is really the art that can turn strangers into friends, isn't it?
It truly is.
Emily Post's advice here feels as relevant today as ever. Good conversation is built on listening just as much as speaking. Maybe more.
Absolutely. Listening is key.
But let's be honest. We all know someone who can hijack a conversation faster than you can say monologue.
Oh yeah.
Ask how their weekend was, and like 20 minutes later, you're still hearing about their cousin's dog's Instagram account.
That is a classic conversational trap. And Post's really radical idea for having, captivating conversation wasn't so much about what clever things you say, but how you listen. Truly listening, not just to figure out when you can jump in, but listening to actually understand.
Right, the intent behind the listening.
Exactly. And neuroscience now actually shows that this kind of active, empathetic listening, it activates shared empathy circuits in our brains. It literally forges connection at a cellular level.
Wow.
It's about creating a dynamic exchange, a back and forth, not a performance where one person just holds the stage.
That deeper physiological connection makes so much sense. The source material we looked at highlights 3 key components for good conversation: balancing your speaking and listening.
The give and take.
Demonstrating genuine curiosity through asking questions.
Not just talking about yourself.
Right. And maintaining presence, putting down the phone, giving your full attention. That presence piece is huge for me. It's so hard to feel truly connected if someone's constantly glancing at their screen.
It completely undermines the connection.
But how do we practice this balance, this give and take, without feeling like we're following some kind of, conversational script?
Yeah, good question. It's less about a script and more about cultivating genuine interest. Think about the difference. A bad example is someone asks, "How was your trip?" You say, "It was good." Full stop.
Yeah.
Then immediately pivot. "Anyway, let me tell you about this totally unrelated thing I bought online."
Shuts it down.
Right. But a better example. "How was your trip?" "Oh, it was wonderful. We went hiking in the mountains." Then, crucially, turn it back. "Have you ever been to Colorado?"
Okay. The invitation.
Exactly. That second answer doesn't just share information, it invites the other person in. It creates a pathway for the conversation to continue. It shows an active desire for shared experience, for connection, and that's really the key.
So it's not just being polite, it's actively inviting further interaction. That's a subtle but really powerful distinction. And I guess on the flip side, we need to be mindful of those conversation black holes.
Yeah, what to avoid.
Things like excessive gossip, maybe oversharing really personal details way too soon.
TMI.
Or constant interrupting. Post would probably remind us that conversation should ideally uplift and energize, not exhaust or deflate people.
Absolutely. It's about leaving the other person feeling generally better, not worse, for having spoken with you.
Okay, next up is a big one for me personally. Remembering names. We've all been there, haven't we?
Oh, definitely. The worst feeling.
You meet someone, you shake their hand, you hear their name, and by the time they finish saying it, it's just vanished, gone to the ether.
Happens all the time.
I confess, remembering names is like my personal Mount Everest. I remember one time trying an association trick, picturing Mark, the bookmark, and then later I couldn't remember his name, only the bookmark. So what's a strategy that actually works, that genuinely cuts through that mental fog?
The bookmark trap. It happens to everyone, honestly. Emily Post reminds us that remembering someone's name is one of the simplest yet truly most powerful courtesies we can extend.
Why is it so powerful, though?
Because our names are so intrinsically tied to our identity, right? Our sense of self. When someone remembers your name, it signals that they truly saw you, they acknowledged you as an individual. It conveys this profound sense of respect and validation.
Okay, I get that. So how do we actually do it better?
The key isn't just association, like your bookmark, but active retrieval and repetition. First, repeat the name back immediately, but naturally. "It's nice to meet you, Priya."
Okay, say it back.
Then try to use it naturally in the conversation, maybe once or twice more. So mark how long you lived here.
Right, use it.
And then, this is critical, visualize writing the name down in your mind. Don't just create a mental image, but the act of writing seems to help transfer it to longer-term memory more effectively for many people.
Writing it in my head. I haven't tried that specifically. That makes sense, though, the active retrieval part. But what if, despite all your best efforts, you just blank, you can't recall it? Should you try to fake it and hope they don't notice?
Oh, God, no. Don't fake it.
Or is there a more graceful way to handle that inevitable moment of forgetting?
Honesty delivered with kindness is always, always the best approach. Don't panic, and definitely don't guess or fake it.
Okay.
Simply say something like, I'm so sorry, your name has just slipped my mind. Would you remind me? That genuine admission, rather than some awkward dance, maintains respect. And honestly, it often gets an understanding response. People appreciate the honesty, and they've almost certainly been in the same boat themselves.
True.
It can actually even deepen the connection slightly by just showing your humanity, your vulnerability.
That's a good perspective. Okay, next. Titles and forms of address. This one feels fairly straightforward, maybe, but it's incredibly important.
Yes, crucial for showing respect.
The golden rule here, still relevant from Post's time, seems to be start formal and only switch to informal if you're explicitly invited to do so.
Precisely. If someone holds a professional title, a doctor, a professor, a judge, military rank, whatever it is, use it until they indicate otherwise. Dr. Smith only becomes John if Dr. Smith says, oh, please call me John.
Right.
This isn't about being unnecessarily stiff or old-fashioned. It's simply about showing initial respect for their position, their achievement, or even just their age and experience sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a recognition of their professional or social identity.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, too, is how power dynamics often play into this, even subtly. Generally, the person with the perceived higher status or rank has the prerogative to invite the less formal address.
That's a powerful point about the power dynamics. I hadn't explicitly thought of it that way. And this extends into the digital world too, right? Which I think we often forget.
Absolutely critical online.
In emails or LinkedIn messages. It's always safer, always more respectful to start with, Dear Mrs. Patel, or Dear Professor Jones, rather than jumping straight to a first name, unless you already have that established relationship.
Definitely err on the side of formality online initially.
But what if someone insists you call them by their first name? Really, just call me Sarah. But you're genuinely more comfortable maintaining that formal title, maybe in professional context. How do you navigate that without being awkward or seeming disrespectful?
Yeah, that's a nuanced situation. It really comes down to balancing respect for their preference with your own authentic professional comfort level. If someone explicitly invites you to use their first name, it is generally polite to accept their invitation. However, if you feel it genuinely compromises your professional comfort, or perhaps the nature of the relationship requires that formality for you, you could gently respond with something like,
Like what?
Maybe, thank you so much for that, Dr. Patel. I hope you don't mind if I continue to use your title for now. I just have such respect for your work and position. Something along those lines.
Oh, okay.
It acknowledges their offer gracefully while maintaining your boundary. It shows you heard them, you respect their preference, but you're also being true to your own professional stance.
That feels like a good balance.
Yeah.
Okay, finally, and these are some of my favorites, honestly, the small courtesies.
Yes, the little things.
These are the everyday kindnesses that require almost zero effort from us, really. But they can carry enormous weight for the person receiving them.
Totally disproportionate impact.
We're talking about holding the door open for someone, saying please and thank you, sincerely not mumbled, but really meant. Offering your seat to someone who looks tired or needs it more on a crowded bus or train. Simple stuff. But what's the deeper psychological impact of these seemingly tiny actions?
These small courtesies are essentially micro acts of generosity. They cost you almost nothing a second of your time, a tiny bit of awareness.
Right.
But for the recipient, they can genuinely be the one moment of acknowledged humanity in an otherwise invisible feeling day. The key insight here is the disproportionate power of these tiny gestures.
Disproportionate power. I like that.
They often create a positive ripple effect, prompting the recipient to then pay that kindness forward later on. Psychologically, they reinforce a sense of community, of mutual respect, countering that feeling of anonymity and isolation that can easily creep into modern life. You honestly never know when a small courtesy, like holding a door, will be the brightest, most appreciated part of someone's entire day.
That's so true. I mean, just think about that person on the bus who's clearly had a rough day, looking exhausted, and someone offers their seat. that tiny gesture could literally change the whole trajectory of their evening.
It really could.
And it's important to remember, these small courtesies extend online, too, right? Which is such a vital part of our daily interactions now.
Increasingly vital, yes.
Things like responding to a message reasonably promptly, just acknowledging you got it, thanking someone for sharing a document or offering help, or simply remembering to mute yourself during a big Zoom call when you're not speaking.
Oh, the mute button courtesy, yes.
These are basically the digital equivalents of holding the physical door open. They show consideration for others in that shared space, whether it's physical or virtual, and they prevent that kind of digital friction, that grinding of gears we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. Smooths the digital interactions, too.
So let's try and wrap up this deep dive. I really hope you found these insights as, well, illuminating as I have. They seem simple, but they run deep.
Me too. It's good to revisit these fundamentals.
Okay, so here are the 3 big takeaways from our conversation today, as I see them.
Let's hear them.
First, everyday manners, this whole world of etiquette we explored. It isn't really about adhering to some arbitrary, stiff set of rules or, like, striving for perfection.
Definitely not perfection.
It's fundamentally about kindness in action. It's driven by empathy, by a genuine desire to connect with other humans.
Well said. Kindness in action.
Second takeaway. Practices like genuine greetings, thoughtful introductions, engaging conversations, actually trying to remember names, using titles correctly, and all those small courtesies we just talked about. These aren't just optional extras. They're the indispensable foundations of true connection between people. They build bridges, not walls, in our social landscape.
They really are foundational. Couldn't agree more.
And the third one.
And this one, I think, is perhaps the most crucial point for right now. In a world that often feels so rushed, so distracted, so utterly overwhelmed by information, taking just a moment to be truly thoughtful and intentional in how we interact with each other, that is more powerful and more impactful than it has ever been. It's almost like an act of quiet rebellion against the chaos, you know? A conscious choice to prioritize human dignity and connection over just efficiency or distraction.
A quiet rebellion. I love that. Okay, so your challenge for this week, if you're up for it, choose just one area we talked about today. Just one. And practice it daily.
Keep it simple.
Exactly. Maybe it's greeting everyone you meet, even strangers briefly, with sincere eye contact and a warm smile. Or maybe it's making a conscious effort to remember just one new name this week using those active retrieval techniques we discussed.
Like writing it in your head.
Yeah. Or maybe it's as simple as looking up from your phone and offering your seat to someone who looks tired on public transport. Or just being fully present, phone away, in your very next conversation.
Small, actionable things.
Right. Whatever it is. Commit to it for the week, and then just kind of notice how people respond. Observe the outcome. You might be genuinely surprised at the ripple effect your small, intentional action can create.
Pay attention to the ripples. And maybe, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it raises an important question to ponder.
Okay.
What if good manners aren't really about adhering to some impossible, perfect standard? What if their true purpose is simply about fostering deeper human connection? The implication being that it's the effort, the intention itself, that truly matters most, and that creates a lasting impact far beyond just that single interaction.